Hey guys, and welcome to another tablet review. Today we are taking a good look at the new and upcoming XPPen Artist Pro 14 pen display tablet. This model is still in pre-order, but it will start shipping out mid-September, and there's currently a 10% discount and some free gifts for early birds pre-ordering before its release. I just thought that was worth mentioning right away. And before we jump into the review, I also quickly want to mention that to celebrate XPPen's 18th anniversary currently going on, we have teamed up over on my Instagram, where I'll be doing a Draw This in Your Style contest with prizes for 3 awesome winners. I'll give you more details on the contest by the end of this video, so be sure to stick around or check out the link to the contest below. So, XPPen is not a stranger on my channel. I've been reviewing quite a few tablets over the span of the past 5 years, but this time I'm especially excited because the Artist Pro 14 supposedly got a lot of cool upgrades, so let's start taking a look at some of this tablet's highlights. And of course, for full disclosure, this tablet was sent to me in return for a review on my channel. My review reflects my personal experience with and opinions on the tablet, and is in no way influenced or restricted by the opinions of others. So, let's get cooking! One of the major hardware upgrades of this model is actually in the stylus. The stylus, or the pen, is armed with an X3 Pro Smart chip developed by XPPen themselves. I tried their first X3 chip stylus when I was trying the second generation Artist 12 last year, and it was pretty obvious back then that there was an improvement since their previous tablet models. This, however, is the first stylus that I've tried that has over 16,000 pressure levels. And according to XPPen, this is the first 16K stylus in the industry. I will get back to this and talk about my experience with the new stylus pen in a few minutes, but first I want to mention some of the other highlights. Another hardware upgrade can be found on the tablet's size itself. The monitor's height has been increased, so instead of 9020 by 1080 pixels display, the second generation Artist Pro 14 has a 1920 by 1200 pixels resolution display, making it a 16 by 10 aspect ratio pen display tablet. That allows for a bit more space to rest your hand on the tablet, and you get a bit more space for your drawing apps interface as well. And here I also want to mention that the tablet can be connected using a single USB-C cable, which in my opinion, as I've said before, is a must nowadays. You can still connect it through the older 3-in-1 cable solution that was the main connection solution for a lot of older models, but it's super nice that a single USB-C cable is enough nowadays. Another new addition is the X Remote Control, XPPen's new wireless shortcut remote that comes included with this particular tablet. The tablet itself does not have any shortcut keys, and I do see more and more manufacturers move away from adding keys to their newer tablet models and instead develop shortcut devices like this one. The X Remote Controller can be used wired with the included USB cable, or through a wireless connection using the included USB dongle, or with a pure Bluetooth connection to your computer. The remote works with all tablet models and even with tablets that are not from XPPen. You can download the driver for the remote as a separate driver for off-brand tablets, and on Mac it even runs without a driver. The buttons feel like regular laptop keyboard buttons and has a very nice feedback to them. The dial ring also has some tactile feedback on it, as well as a solid clicking sound when rotated. The Artist Pro 14 has inbuilt feet on the back that you can pop out to get a better drawing angle. As far as I'm aware, this is the first of their tablets that comes with inbuilt feet. This is way more practical if you're moving around with your tablet a lot, because you don't have to carry a stand separately. So those were a few highlights of the second generation Artist Pro 14, and before I move on to other new highlights and testing, let's take a quick look inside the box. The tablet is fully laminated with an anti-glare film, which reduces glaring and parallaxing when drawing. The screen's resolution, as I mentioned, is 920 by 1200 pixels, so you'll find that the screen itself is a bit longer in height compared to other 14 inches drawing tablets. There's a power button on the top, and next to it there's a button to control the tablet's brightness. Here you'll also find 2 USB-C ports, one for the single USB-C connection and one for the 3-in-1 cable connection. Currently, XPPen is shipping the 3-in-1 cable with the tablet, even though it's not included in the box. It might change in the future though, so if you're watching this review at a later point, please check for yourself if the 3-in-1 cable is still being shipped with the tablet if you need it. Otherwise, you should be able to buy it separately on their website. The pen's container has finally been redesigned, and now it looks like this metal case that you simply click to open. In here you'll find the USB dongle for the remote and 8 additional pen nibs. These pen nibs comes in 2 versions, but I promise I'll get back to that a little later because that is one of my favorite additions to this stylus. You will also get the required fully featured USB-C cable included for the tablet's connection, as well as the USB-C to USB-A cable for the remote and a USB-A extension cable. Thank you XPPen for acknowledging that some of us use a big stationary PC most of the time that only has ports on the back side and is located somewhere on the floor beneath the table. Thank you. And in case you want to use a separate power cable for your tablet, these are also included here. The USB-C cable does provide power to the tablet, but there might be cases where it's necessary to use a separate power source. For instance, if your computer cannot provide enough power due to low battery or similar scenarios. If you want to read the full list of what this package includes, as well as all the specifications for the tablet and its compatibility, check out the link to the product size in the video's description. This tablet is also compatible with certain smartphone models, which you can also read about on XPPen's website. Now let's move on and see what this tablet is all about. I will be working on the drawing for the Draw This in Your Style contest that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, so be sure to stick around to see the final result and the contest details. So obviously we should talk about the new pen and the 16K pressure levels. I also went and saw some of the early reviews on this tablet, and some artists claim to be able to feel the difference between the 8K and 16K pressure levels, and some say that they can't. While I was drawing this piece casually as I normally would, I didn't really notice any particular difference from a regular 8K pressure pen to this 16K pressure pen. So I took out my Wacom Cintiq Pro 16 and put it next to my XPPen Artist Pro 14 to make a direct comparison. I will be the first to admit that this felt a bit illegal, but I think it's only fair to compare products like this in a review, so here we go. I did several tests. I tried to align the pressure of the pens as closely as possible, and I also did some tweaking to the pressure levels to test that as well. To be honest, even with a direct comparison like this side by side, I felt like there wasn't really a difference. Technically and spec-wise, there is of course. The XPPen stylus does have more sensitivity built into it. That's not up for discussion, but I just couldn't feel it when I used them right after the other. If I had compared the 16K pressure levels with a previous XPPen stylus from maybe a much older model, I might have been able to feel it, but that's just guessing right now. I must say, however, that drawing on the XPPen Artist Pro 14 felt just as good as drawing on the Cintiq Pro 16. There was a slight different feeling because I am using a felt tip on the Artist Pro 14, and I actually think I prefer that feeling over the more smooth surface feeling on the Cintiq, but that's just a minor detail and definitely based on my personal preference. I did notice, however, that the cursor on the XPPen tablet offset slightly when I turn my wrist around to draw from different angles, and I didn't experience any sort of offset using the Cintiq. I recorded it here so you could check it out for yourself. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest, but when I made a direct comparison like this, it was quite noticeable. But now let's also quickly talk about the felt tip, because holy cow, that is my new favorite pen nib. The surface of the Artist Pro 14 tablet is protected with a matte anti-glare film, as I mentioned, which also gives you a bit more texture when drawing with regular pen nibs. But when you also add the felt nibs, you get even more resistance, and it honestly feels so nice to draw on. It's almost as if they put paper-like film on it, and I recommend that you try it out for yourself if you have access to the felt nibs. The felt nibs can also be bought separately, and they are compatible with a lot of their newer pen models, and not just for this tablet model, so be sure to check that out if you want them. Oh, and I also quickly want to add that the top of the stylus can be used as an eraser if that is something you fancy. I used to use this feature a lot early on, but today I think it's just faster to use a shortcut, but I know some people will be very happy to hear this, so now you know. Let's also talk about the X Remote controller and one of the new features that has come with the XPPen driver. The driver, first of all, has received an amazing makeover over the span of the past year's time. You can change between your active devices up here in the left corner and change all of your settings in the main window over here. You can set up all your shortcuts on the X remote down here, and as I mentioned, the remote also works with other devices than just XPPen's own tablets, so if you're just in the market for a budget-friendly shortcut remote, the X remote may be for you. So aside from the redesigned user interface, one of the new upgrades to XPPen software is the ability to use dual shortcut settings. You can customize 4 individual sets of shortcut settings through the driver, which gives you a total of 40 shortcut keys when you switch between the 4 modes. The dial also gives you up to 4 modes that you can switch between. You change the mode of the dial by clicking on the little button in the center of the dial. Since I use one of the buttons on the stylus to change the brush size, I generally just use the dial on the shortcut remote for 2 settings, zooming and rotating. And it's super nice to know that I can just disable the remaining 2 modes. The dial is of course also fully customizable, even though there are some preset settings as well. The battery of the remote can last for up to 300 hours on a full charge and is charged by using the included USB-C to USB-A cable. You can always check the remote's battery status on your driver. I use the X remote as much as possible while drawing on the tablet, but a few times I found it quicker to just use the keyboard for certain commands because I had not fully grown accustomed to the shortcuts yet. You can always put some labels on the remote to help yourself remember the layout until it becomes natural to you. XPPen actually sells shortcut stickers on their website, and I checked the size, they do fit on the X remote controller. However, the X remote controller also have an inbuilt shortcut preview setting that you can map to any of your keys on the remote, so that you can quickly bring up the map of your shortcuts at any time. In my opinion, the X remote is a great little shortcut device that gets the job done, but I don't think it is as efficient as the Toolbox controller that I also reviewed recently. My workflow is faster when I use the Toolbox compared to the X remote, but there is also a very steep price difference between the two. The X remote is included with the Artist Pro 14, but if you were to buy it separately, it's $50 compared to the $268 for the wireless version of the Toolbox. So the X remote is about 1/5 of the price for a Toolbox, so there's definitely also that to keep in mind. And it is a great and portable little device. You can even rotate it and use it however you like. Another new feature is the drawing tablet mode. If you press and hold the power button for 3 seconds, the screen will turn off and you can use it as a regular drawing tablet. And during testing, of course, I also did the usual diagonal line test, also known as the jagged line test. And I have nothing to add here because it performed really well. The slight bumps were actually mostly caused by my ruler having a little dent in it. Generally, I think the Artist Pro 14 performs really well. It doesn't get too hot after a long use either, mainly up around where the cable is attached, but it's not even that bad. Something I sadly can't say for my Cintiq Pro 16, which gets uncomfortably warm after a few hours. I feel like XPPen just always managed to control the heat really well in their products, which is a pretty big deal to me personally. The additional 120 pixels you get in height on this tablet may not seem like much when you just think about it, so I made this little visual representation of a regular Full HD display, which is the blue area. Here you can see how much extra space you actually get from the extended monitor, represented by the green color. I personally really like this extension of the monitor, especially because the tablet itself is what I would consider in the smaller category in terms of pen display tablets, so it's super nice that it feels a little less cramped in here in my interface. So overall, I gotta say, this is a great tablet. I feel like there is still some improvement to be done on the offset tendency of the cursor when I draw from different angles, but that might be about the biggest and only issue I have with this model. And knowing this, I would still highly recommend this tablet to digital artists because it just wins on so many other aspects and features. And here is the final result of the drawing for my Draw This New Art Style contest on Instagram. The contest has just started now and it ends on September 8th. Let me try that again. The contest has just started now and it ends on September 8th. And the winners will be picked by me and announced on September 9th. There are prizes for first, second and third place, and you can see the full contest guidelines and prizes on the Instagram post, which is linked in the description below. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, XPPen is currently celebrating their 18th anniversary, so there's an anniversary sale going on their website. And for 18 lucky people who places an order during the anniversary sale event, they'll be giving a golden ticket that triggers a full refund of their purchase. XPPen is also hosting a drawing contest called Growth and Evolution, where there's a chance to win a cash prize and the latest products from XPPen. And there are also global giveaways across XPPen's social channels, so there are lots of celebrations and chances to win some awesome prizes in the air at the moment. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions in regard to the Artist Pro 14, I will be happy to try and answer them in the comments below. Just be aware, I'm mostly active in the comments within the first week of the video's release. Like and subscribe and hit the ding dong to stay on beat with my new videos. And until next time, take care guys. Bye bye!